I'm Monday, and you are watching Project Life Guys. Body image affecting men too. About 1 million men in America, more or less, are suffering from an eating disorder or body image issue of some kind. I know firsthand of body image issues and teasing in my youth, and today that's what I want to talk about. The first issue I want to talk about is men dealing with anorexia. Now, society, quote unquote, believes that anorexia nervosa only affects women or homosexual men, and that's not always the case. Heterosexual men face body issues as well. For an example, I would like to cite the actor Dennis Quaid. For shooting the movie Wyatt Earp, which was a western shot in 1994, he was to play the role of Doc Holliday. The role required him to lose 40 pounds, which he did, but the crash diet he went on made it difficult for him to gain the weight back, and he struggled for a long time with psychological effects from weight loss. Another person of reference is a Wisconsin psychologist who dealt with eating disorders by the name of Thomas Holbrook. Even though he himself was a therapist for people with anorexia, he developed anorexia himself. At 6 feet tall, he weighed 130 pounds, which doesn't sound like a very low weight, but if you factor in the height, it is. Men's bodies and women's bodies handle long-term effects of anorexia quite different. A man's body, being that it's made up of more muscle tissue according to this report I read, that even if a man is recovering from anorexia, the underlying long-term effects and the damage that it has done is harder to reverse. Whereas in women, their muscle tissue is protected by fat cells. So the outcome is a bit more optimistic, and they may bounce back and recover without as much damage. In closing on the topic of anorexia, I would just like to say that anorexia is severe no matter the gender. It just seems like the damage done in men has greater repercussions I had not known about before. Now, anorexia is not the only body image issue, and I would like to cover some more aspects. It can cause depression and anxiety and pain that you can hold on to for a very long time. I know this firsthand because in my elementary school days, and I think we know how kids in elementary school are, I was picked on mercilessly, as far as to the point of minor or major, I guess it depends how you interpret this, acts of violence. Anyway, the story I'm about to tell is of antics the young men would pull on me. For example, there was this one kid who would break a plastic spork, because you know you get those utensils in your school lunches. It might be different from wherever you're from, but where I'm from, they came with a plastic spork. And what this kid would do is slam his fist on the plastic spork and make what you could, I guess you could call, adolescent shiv. But, anyway, what he would do is he would poke me in the stomach with it. And I told him repeated times to stop. And what I did, which is probably the best case scenario in all types of things, is I told an adult, a teacher, about it. Needless to say, she had a talk, and all I can say is this teacher changed my life for the better, for a little while anyways. Telling him that if he continued, she would press charges. Thankfully, that ended that incident. But I can still remember the name calling and feeling like an outcast. And it got more and more subtle as time went on, but it was still there in my middle school and high school experiences. And I can honestly say those are things that stick with you and shape you as a person. But what I've learned to do, and it has only been in the past couple of years, is to compliment my good points. So here's what I want you to do. Just a piece of advice. And by no means is it easy. It may sound easy, but no way is it. I want you to look in a mirror, and for every negative thought you have about yourself, I want you to think of at least one good thing to match up with that. I hope this video has helped in some small way. For Monday, this is Ken. Goodbye, everybody.